Welcome, YouTube fans. This is a review on the Diamond Select Star Trek ship toys. Basically, as you can tell, I have the Enterprise D saucer separated, and then in the background I have the NX 2000 Excelsior. Anyway, the main objective or reason for today's video, just like some of my past ones, is just to show how I basically modified these to just show a little more lighting effect, especially with the Enterprise D, one of my favorites. The Next Generation, which in my opinion, I thought that was one of the best Star Trek series or episodes. But anyway, so I don't want to really, do too much dialogue. I really just want to show what I've done. But I do want to say that while I was going to test it, I found that the lights were not as bright as normal. So, periodically, obviously, you have to change the batteries. And this one on the battle bridge, or the main hull section away from the saucer, on the bottom is the compartment for the 3 AAA batteries. And you just remove this screw, and then you have to kind of with another, I use a small pick or small screwdriver to pull this cover out. It kind of gets stuck. It's pretty heavy cover. But anyway, once I did that, I noticed it was back, optimal lighting again. What I normally try to do is, and I suggest you do the same if you have many of these electronic toys, even the ones from Playmates. I have actually a Playmates USS or NX Defiant that I also upgraded. That was on a previous video. Get yourself a battery tester. In this way, you can just test the batteries. The AAA and AA, they're all 1.5 volts. If they fall even at 1.4 volts or below, it could affect the performance. This nice battery tester will allow me to, I can actually test C and D size batteries. And on the bottom, I can test 9 volts. This thing was like a couple bucks, so it's worth the money. But here, if I close this, and do it again, let me see here. Okay, and you can see the bar go up. My hand's kind of like in a way holding it. Okay, there it is. So it's registering, a little below 1.5 volt. It still is okay, but if you get anything 1.4 or below, 1.3, some of them are in the yellow area. Down here in the yellow, that's going to really affect it. And of course, red is even though it says weak yellow, red port, anything, even at 1.2, I would just change it. But anyhow, so I've done that already, so I'm going to show the effect. Now, what came with the toy, and I already have this. Well, here, what I'm going to do is put the saucer section back and connect it, and you're going to hear Picard. But anyway, here we go. Okay, when it reconnects, you just hear the sounds of the saucer connecting with the main hull. It's when you separate it, which I'm going to mimic again. But anyway, so the toy, this is, in my opinion, the Enterprise D was one of the best Diamond Select toys put out. Now, there was a future Enterprise D, the one with Riker in the last episode of the Next Generation, which had 1 2 and a third nacelle in the middle, and it looked pretty impressive. That thing, I would say, yeah, probably tops this. But, you know, needless to say, I think this one, you know, out of all the other ships, you know, Diamond Select put a lot of detailing in, you know, and really the futuristic version of it is really the same as a D, except for the third nacelle and a couple of other things they added, some other weaponry look to that ship. Now, another one that I really like from Diamond Select, and I don't have it, it's not on this video, I might do that in a later video, is the Enterprise refit from the Wrath of Khan. And then there's another one, I think from the one of the other movies after Wrath of Khan. I don't remember which one. And anyway, but the one from the Wrath of Khan, the plastic, and you'll see it on other videos on YouTube, the plastic was different. It had a lot of light bleeding, and I thought the light bleeding was a real nice a nice design, because it did give that particular toy, you know, like a movie type look, you know, when it took off from space dock. Other people on YouTube really criticized it. My opinion, I think that would be second to this one, you know, only because this one they gave it some real nice lighting effect and a ton of Captain Picard phrases. If it wasn't for that, I would probably go with the refit being the best one Diamond Select ever really, you know, put in as far as work time. Because you can tell from the detailing on that ship, you know, how somebody, you know, the way they filled in all of the saucer section, you know, and I mean down to like itty bitty lines and you know, the windows and everything. So anyhow, so what I'm going to do is show you the effect on this one, and then we'll show with the light off, because, you know, in here with the light on you won't be able to see it as well. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is simulate. Well, we'll show the whole thing. So basically, now when you look here, this is the cover for the shuttle bay, and I have it removed. There's a button here, and I usually keep it on, which brightens up the bridge. It makes the bridge a lot brighter. There's 3 batteries here. They're watch batteries, and if I got them correct, they're AG318s or LR44s. So I've replaced those also. And you can see how bright the bridge is. If you flip the switch, the bridge, then it's not working off of these batteries. It's working off the AAA, and the lighting isn't as bright. Now, another reason for this is the saucer separates. So the fact that the saucer separates, it needs power, right, to run the sound and light card. So that's where the power comes from. I apologize. That's my little pups. They hear something and they're going to bark. Anyhow, now, what I'm going to do is separate this, and you're going to hear Captain Picard. So, you know, it's pretty neat. You know, I separated the saucer. It simulates it like the series. Now, we're going to look at the saucer section, and I'll reconnect it, you know, before I finish the video. Now, what I've done to this saucer section, I went ahead and added white LEDs inside, or a white LED strip that goes in a circular motion. Okay. I'll explain that in a later video, but anyway, I just want to show how this looks, and it's a pretty nice effect. I like the way it came out, but anyway, we're going to show it right away. And down here I have a switch, a built-in switch, And there right away you can see some of the lights, but I'm going to shut the light off. And now you'll see how this looks. And I would say not a bad job. It looks almost like a Ertl toy model that you would, put together and add a light kit to it. The nice thing about this is it's a light kit, I guess like a Ertl, but built in, but also a Diamond Select toy. You also have, the famous, voice, Captain Picard's voice and sound effects. So, with some of those other models, you get the lighting effect, but you don't get, the voice recordings or the sound effects, so you're kind of missing out on that too, although they have great light effects. Now, anyhow, so, and I could close the door here to my laundry room, and you'll see more of a lighting effect, but it kind of takes away, you can't see the saucer in the whole section. So anyhow, now if I hit this button, so it still plays because of these 3 batteries in here. Now, if I shut off the switch and turn it back on, it won't play anymore. You have to have it connected originally to the main hole or the battle bridge side for it to keep doing this, okay? Now, not bad. Diamond Select did a real nice job. Now, mind you, the lighted windows and the green and red, beacon lights, that's what I did. You don't get that, from Diamond Select. Just to reiterate that. But they did a nice job with the dome and the way the saucer separates and still functions. Now I'm gonna put this down and bring the main hole or the battleship or battle bridge, if you want to call it, battleship itself. And there's a button there. You press it and see. Really nice. I'm sorry, it was out of view. I'm trying to kind of juggle this. But anyway, there's a button right here. And you press that button and this is the effect. It's a really nice effect, actually. Buzzards are nice and red. bright dark red. Or whatever. And then your main radar disc array, whatever the terminology. I haven't seen Star Trek in a little bit, but anyway, it's a nice effect. So I'm going to leave this on and I'm going to reconnect it. You're going to hear the reconnection again. Okay. This is a nice replica that Diamond Select did. I mean, I tip my hat off. Now there's some, there's some cons, there's always some cons with the pros, but for the most part, now the fact that I added a little more to it, obviously there's more pros with it now. Okay, now I'm going to shut it down. So you press this switch here to shut off the Buzzards and the dome. And then of course my upgrade, I have to hit that switch. Now I'm going to put this on the side for the moment, since we already talked about this one. And if you're interested in turn the light back, if you're interested in how I did that, I will post a follow-up video. But I like to get some feedback from this video. Depending on how many people give me feedback, that might motivate me to go a little further and share it. And I don't mind sharing it, but the thing is, it's something that I get motivated by looking at other YouTube videos, and vice versa. We all kind of feed off of that because we're all fans and buffs. But anyway, okay, so now the whole reason really behind this video and starting with the Enterprise D is I just got this one a few days ago. This is the NX 2000 USS Excelsior. I was skeptical on buying this way back, even last year, whenever it came out, because I really wanted the Enterprise B, which is right here behind it. And from the movie, I really liked the Enterprise B, okay? However, you know, now that I look at them as I guess as a toy, I'm kind of liking more. I'm actually favoring more the Excelsior because it was the first one of its kind, and this is set up a little different, although they look alike. Now, I'm going to see if I can reposition the camera just a little. Bring it up a little bit, swing it up so where the Enterprise D is you know, smaller but wider. So these ships are kind of long, okay? Now, so I got this one. I got this Excelsior a few days ago. It wasn't working. You would press this button and it would not work. I had to troubleshoot that. Being that I had the Enterprise B, similar design, I was able to take the battery holder. The battery holders on these are different. They actually slide out. They're not like the D and the E and the refit where they go inside and you just put a cover. These for some reason, they made them different. Back in here, this screw, when you remove this screw and slide this cover out, there's a rectangular compartment inside that hold the 3 AAA batteries. Now, after visually inspecting inside and the cartridge, and I couldn't see anything visually wrong, I took the one out of the B, since it's the same design, and slid it in to see if that would solve the problem. And of course it didn't, which told me the problem was inside somewhere else. Now, so at that point, I said, okay. I said, well, I'm going to have to try to figure out, you know, how can I, you know, how to figure out basically what else is going on with this thing. Now, long story short, I said, obviously there's no power and there's an open somewhere for you electronic buffs. And I said, well, I'm going to have to troubleshoot and see what's going on. Now, when I originally got this B, I noticed back here, and I'm going to grab this one now. I noticed back here, this was kind of open right there, a lot wider than what you're actually seeing now. In fact, if I squeeze it a little, it will close a little more. However, there was a bigger gap than that. It really didn't look right. And I said, something's wrong here. So from factory, I said, this thing wasn't closed right. So anyway, I said, there's got to be some way to close this more or open it and then reseat it. Well, I figured out on this model, and I'll show that in a later video, how to separate the saucer section. And I'll show that in a later video. But anyway, after I separated it and reseated it, it was fine. So I used that same, you know, I did the same thing to this one because I needed to find out if the light and sound card in here had a problem or a wire. So when I separated it, I found everything was fine. But in doing so, I was able to remove the power connector, and with my voltmeter determined that I had still no power from the battery or from the main hole up through that wire, or there's 3 wires, on all 3 wires to supply the voltage to the sound and light card. So I was back down here again. So I closed it up. At least that gave me the big clue. And I said, I'm back in here. So just for giggles, one more time, I decided to try the little battery holder from my Enterprise B in here again. And sure enough, as I held it in and pushed it a couple times and made sure the batteries were down in this cartridge, you got to make sure they're down, it came on. And I said, wait a minute. That told me that the cartridge for this one, the battery holder for this one, had a problem. And it was never up in here or anywhere else. So I did a little more work. You know, I had to open up the saucer, but I've already done that, and that was no big deal. I found on the cartridge there was a problem, and I repaired it. And I'll show that on a later video, depending on, you know, how many, I guess, replies I get from this video. But I'm going to turn these on, and I'm going to show you. The one downside on these is I noticed the bridge does not light up. So if I hold that button down and hold this one down, okay, that's a disappointment. Although back in here lights up these little glass domes, which I think are pretty cool. I'm going to try to go like this so you can see it a lot better. Right in here. So they light up. And the NX2000 or Excelsior has shuttle bay windows, which is cool. You don't see anything inside, but it's just a light illuminating from there. Now, the main reflector dish really lights up. I like that on the Excelsior. Now, there is another version of this Excelsior. Now that we're on the Excelsior here, it's the NCC 2000, the one with Sulu. So his voice is on that one, which is cool. However, that particular model is really kind of like this one because it has these two glass domes and it has the lighted nacelles minus these front Buzar covers that's on this B. So it's kind of like a combination of these two, the NCC 2000, but it's Sulu's voice. Now, as a Star Trek fan, I would love to have that one, but chances are, if I get it at a great deal, I'll buy it. If it has a problem, I may gamble, but I'm not paying $60 or whatever it is for it, just because Sulu's voice is on it. And I've heard the recordings; they're not all that great. But this one,
looking forward to breaking some of Enterprise's speed records tomorrow. Now, please, fast forward and thank you. Up your shaft. Still alert. Captain to the bridge. Bridge, this is the captain. How can you have a yellow alert in space dock?
So what's unique about this, there's a few more sounds, but anyway, it is from the original, the movie, Generation, or Search for Spock, where the Enterprise escapes from this one, and of course Scotty sabotaged the the actual I'm trying, the energy crystals. I know that's not the actual name, but anyway. Okay, so so it's kind of unique in itself, and it is the first one of its type. So I kind of like this a lot, and it says NX2000, not NCC, so it's a little different. But anyway, so they each have their pluses and minuses. Of course, the B has
I'm Captain John Harriman. It wouldn't be the Enterprise without a Sulu at the helm.
And ironically, he says without the Sulu at the helm here. And this one doesn't have Sulu's voice because he's in the NCC 2000. But anyway, okay. So basically, I was thinking, I don't know, maybe I want to try, since I can take these apart, I may put these nacelles over here and see what kind of effect I get with the shuttle light and the nacelles, because this one also gives you an extra pair, if you look carefully here, of impulse engines. Okay, and this one does not. It only has the 2 impulse engines in the middle, and they're red. These are orange glow, and these are red glow, but these are red. These are really nice. I like the designs on the outer impulse engines on the Enterprise B. So I'm thinking if I swap this here with this one, this will give this a little much better effect. And this one would still be nice because it gives you extra sound recordings, you know, and the lighting effect is still good on it, and the ship looks nice. Now, one other thing about it is, and you'll see it on other YouTube videos, the finish touch on the actual, I guess the actual outer hull of both of them, like this one has like a dirty finish. This one's a lot cleaner of a finish. For me, both of them look nice, but you'll notice some people also on YouTube talking about these lines. Yeah, these lines, I don't know what they were thinking when they did these lines. It's definitely not like the refit. The refit was like somebody with a hand and brush did that. This was like on a machine or something, and didn't come out as well. But really, I'm not attracted to that. I'm more attracted to all the features, the sounds, the famous phrases from the movies. That's what I'm kind of more attracted to. And you do look at it, you want it to look, somewhat realistic. Now, again, the bridge does not light up. So, and there's no window light up. So I was thinking down the line, maybe I'll add, some light kits. And this one, I don't know why they made the shuttle windows blue. They should be white. So I didn't understand. I may change the bulb on that. Put in a white LED instead of a blue, and see how that looks. So I have some ideas, that I may want to try. And while we're on upgrades, and I apologize for crossing the camera, here is the Enterprise E, one of my favorites. And this thing, and I'm going to move these over. This particular one, I have to say that I upgraded and trust me, I wanted to upgrade even more because they did a horrible job as far as lighting effect with this version, Diamond Select. This is probably one of the worst ones they did with the lighting effect. When I first got this, the only thing that really lit up were the 2 red bizards, I guess they call them. And even the impulse engines, they light up, but they still don't light up as bright. You had hardly any light coming through on the nacelles. That was horrible. And as far as the windows, you can forget it. You just got this yellow, a very dim yellow glow. And of course, the famous radar beacon where, Picard and Worf, beat off the Borg and jettison out away, it comes out okay, but could be better. But anyway, I'm going to hold the button down. I guess what I'm going to do is shut off the light again. And this way you'll be able to see it. Now, you see how the nacelles light up? That's after I upgraded it. You would not see it like that. I mean, it was nowhere near that.
Ready phasers and quantum torpedoes. Fire all weapons.
Now, another downside is if I hold the button down all the way, it'll just cycle through those phrases and lights and sound effects, but the lights won't stay on. That's a downside too on this one. I guess the Diamond Select say we really don't want you to play with the lights a lot on this one because we didn't like how it came out anyway. So what I'm planning to do down the line is since I also, I was able to open these two nacelles up, and I can show that also in a later video. Anyway, so, I'm planning to change that yellow glow where the windows are at and put like a white light, just like this one. I don't know why that's a blue light back there, on this, on the Excelsior. That should be like a white LED. And today, now you can buy these LEDs. They use very low wattage. In fact, almost hardly any type of, energy. They'll last like, I don't know, like years. These little LEDs, you can find them almost anywhere. Walmart has them. Online you can just find these, white LEDs or color ones, and cut them down and paste them inside whatever, and run them off of whatever, a couple batteries or whatever you design, whatever you decide to use. But they'll, and usually they have their own little power packs anyway. So I'm gonna upgrade this one for sure, since I already started the nacelles, and I did this years ago. I want to say maybe I've had this one for, I guess I want to say like maybe, I think it's like 5-6 years if I'm going back, if I'm counting right. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, this Enterprise E, I'm thinking about upgrading, where the windows would be like a white light, not yellow, this really dim yellow glow. The yellow is okay for the radar dish, a radar beacon, I guess, if you want to call it. But and the Buzzards are pretty bright, and the nacelles, I'm happy with that. Although if I wanted to, I could upgrade this with LEDs instead of 2 bulbs, and it would go like all the way down. It would probably look like over here like the the 1701B version. But I'm looking at trying to do something in here now, because this is just horrible. And it's a real nice model, design, but they just didn't do enough with the lighting effect. So anyway, these are 4 of my Diamond Select. They're all Diamond Select, and I actually have the refit, the one with the Wrath of Khan, which I said, I'll probably show that in another video. The plastic was different, but the detailing was incredible. They did a really nice job, Diamond Select, with the detailing on that one. And I have the original Enterprise with Captain Kirk from the 60s. That's a nice one too. I'll probably show that with the refit. Hey, that would be a good probably review. And then, and then I also have the one Enterprise with Scott Bakula. I would do probably those 3. Those are the other 3 I haven't shown. And of course, the new movie, the new version of the Enterprise with the young actors, the young Kirk and Spock or whatever. That one was I think it was a Playmates. No, I don't remember the company. But that one, they didn't do enough detailing. But it has some nice sound and light effects. I give them that much credit. And for the price, I only paid like $15. That was a steal. So I'll do a review on that. But anyway, these are, and notice this one, I can't keep the lights on. What a shame. Maybe I'll figure out a way to what I call kind of modify it or rig it to where you press a button and the lights would stay on. I don't know, but anyhow, give me some response. Tell me how you like this video. It is a long video. I will show in a later video how I actually open these up, but I really want to have some responses out in the YouTube world. So again, thank you for watching, and keep trekking on.